That music means it's time for another episode of Scrum Myth or Fact with professional Scrum trainers Todd Miller and Ryan Ripley. We get together each week, we look at a statement about Scrum, and we try to figure out, is it a myth or a fact, along with your help. All right, Todd, this week, a Scrum team typically has 10 or fewer members. All right, everybody out there, you know the drill. You're going to pause your video. You're going to leave your answer in the comment section. You're going to hit submit, and then you're going to hit play and see how we break this down. So pause. All right, Todd, hopefully everyone's back, and they've left some great answers below. A Scrum team typically has 10 or fewer members. What do you think?
So I'm going to paint some context here before I say fact or myth, Ryan. Because the Scrum Guide says a Scrum team is recommended to have 10 or fewer members. So the word here typically is tripping me up a bit, right? So it's recommended, but you can still be doing Scrum if you have 12 people on a Scrum team. So I would say if this language said a Scrum team it's recommended that a Scrum team has 10 or fewer members, I would say that that is a fact. However, I don't want to give the impression that if you have 12 people on your team, that goes against the Scrum Guide, because the Scrum Guide says recommended.
So what if we go with your very positive interpretation? What if we say the Scrum Guide recommends, or the suggested team size is typically 10 or fewer members? If it's worded that way, which way would you go?
If it was worded recommended, I would go with fact.
Got it. And I think that's a good way to look at it. Because let's say recommended, and we would go fact there. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so why is that? Why is that a fact? Why would we? I mean, it's because the Scrum Guide says so. What's up with that 10 number? I know we've heard some data about that before.
Yeah, it's communication. I've worked on teams that had 20 people before, and you can just get hidden in there. Things, problems, impediments, work gets lost. So that number of 10 or fewer, I've even found like the sweet spot to be like 8. Right. Yeah. You start to get to 9 and even 10, and communication breaks down. That doesn't mean that you can't get communication to happen. It just starts to break down the larger the team. Right. And so to me, just from a non-data oriented perspective, just like the vibe that I have with teams that are larger than 10 people in the past has been that communication breaks down, all the stuff, collaboration, working on the same things, tends to break down over time with this number.
Yeah,
but it can be done.
And we've seen it drawn out where they've have 10 people and trying to keep, that 11th person coordinated in, and the connections start getting exponentially more difficult. But like Todd said, if you have a team of 12 and you're delivering and you're hitting your sprint goal, you're delivering increments that your stakeholders and your customers and your users are delighted with, and you're basically winning each and every sprint. There's good validated value, and you're just crushing the market. Stick with 12, right? Yeah. It's a good number. Yeah. This is just guidance. There are very few hard and fast rules in the Scrum Guide. This is another case where they provided some guidance. But if you're doing well with 8, use 8. If you're doing well with 12, use 12. Just simply understand that around that 10 mark, the communication gets more difficult. The speed of decisions could get slowed down. The ability to coordinate well during the daily Scrum could diminish. That there are some things to look out for and to mitigate if they happen to happen.
Yeah.
Cool. Very well done, all of you out there in YouTube land. We're sure you nailed it as well. Be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss these myth or fact videos. Some other videos are going to pop up here as well. Hit that bell so you don't miss any of them. Check out our description. Todd and I have put some info about us, our books, our classes, all the great things that you can do with Scrum, and more is in there. Be sure to check that out as well. For Todd, I'm Ryan. Go forward, do some great Scrum things. Be a Scrum myth buster. We'll see you next time.